Hello everybody, this is Aaron Collins, and this is another rendition of me addressing worldly issues in a godly way. Recently, Donald Trump spoke before a group of policemen in Suffolk County, New York. He was talking to them about how to deal with suspects. His comments, however, were quite disturbing. Because he was encouraging the police that when they have suspects, to be rough with them, to take away their hand when they're getting in the car so they could hit their head on the door or so like that. Quite a few police officers found what he said to be quite humorous, and they were laughing about it. You could see police laughing in the background. However, those sentiments weren't taken very lightly by a lot of people. Now, in the recent high-profile death and acquittal of the police officer of Philandro Castillo, as well as others, we in the black community find this as a slap in the face. For police officers, or in this case race soldiers, have always been doing this. They've always had the green light to shoot unarmed suspects or shoot unarmed people regardless of if they're a suspect or not. This further perpetuates and drives a wedge between the relationship between the police and the black community. Now, if you know anything about coded language, suspects, he used the term thugs. Thug is basically coded language for a black person. You see, these comments were later defended by his press secretary, who says that the president was possibly joking. Well, once again, we don't find anything at all funny about this. A person's life, the loss of life, is never funny when it comes to dealing with people, with black people, and with anybody, white people or anyone else. You see, we have always had the issue with police brutality, police misconduct. Now, this further encourages the police to really wild out now. Once again, as a black community, we really have to organize, and we really have to not take this. We have to, in one collective voice, say we're not going to take this, because this is not right. Basically, this confirms what I've said before. The police are said to serve and protect, but lately it's been seek and destroy when it comes to the black community. I've said this before. So maybe what I'm saying could fall on, maybe what I was saying before was falling on deaf ears. Well, hopefully this will take notice. A lot of law enforcement agencies across the nation have supported Trump, have publicly supported them, because it gives them, basically Trump just gave them the green light and permission to do what they want to do. They just go buck wild. However, not all police departments feel this way. Some police departments have actually said that Donald Trump does not speak for them, and that his words, his comments, send a dangerous message. And I do agree. It sends a very dangerous message that it's all right to brutalize people when you feel like it, because you're a police officer. Because see, a lot of these police officers have already been elevated to a god status anyway. You know, this right here just further complicated the whole issue. Some police officers are trying to get away from, police departments are trying to get away from the brutality. And now this is further, like they said, this further reinforces a stereotype between the black community and the police department. Once again, as black people, what are we going to do? See, for too long, we have always been made to sit back and take this punishment. We've been made to sit back and take our own oppression. But this is not the time to sit back and take it. We cannot take this lying down. This is America, land of free, the home of the brave. But lately, America has been showing an entire different face when it comes to black people. It is even more blatant now. You got race soldiers and white supremacists in the police department that have been even more emboldened than ever before, ever since Trump has been in office. Once again, with the highly publicized killings of Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Terrence Crutcher, Sandra Bland, Charlene Lyles, when is it going to stop? What is it going to take for us as a community to come together in one voice and say we're not going to take this? Once again, to the coons and trolls out there that are listening to this, don't think that because you're cooning and you're trolling for white supremacy that you're immune. Because as I've stated before, you're still black. And they have a way of showing you that you're black. But obviously, you're going to probably have to learn the hard way. But this message here is for everybody. Because you do have a bunch of police associations that find these remarks to be of some concern and quite disturbing, and rightfully so. We're living with a president who has had some racist tendencies and attitudes since he was in office. But it seems like anytime when we have voiced it, it's not heard. Now, there's always been a double standard also when it comes to policing. When black people were being slaughtered in the streets by the police, it wasn't even listened to. Recently, when Justin Diamond in Minnesota was killed by Muhammad Noor, a police officer there, a black officer, all kinds of attention was paid. But let me get back on the topic here, because these are talking points I've already made before. For Donald Trump to say what he has said, it does send a clear message. It sends a very clear message in irresponsible language that it's all right to treat suspects any kind of way. Now, does the name Freddie Gray ring a bell? Freddie Gray was a young man, black man in Baltimore, Maryland, who died 2 years ago because he wasn't properly restrained inside the police van he was riding in. And as a process, he was being thrown around. Somehow his neck got broke and he died. For Donald Trump to say to rough up suspects says something else altogether. That if we can't seem to trust the police, who can we go to? Do we even have any protections or rights within this nation? Anyway, everybody, I just wanted to put my 2 cents on this whole thing because it's very disturbing. We're dealing with a president who sounds more dictatorial than anything. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share this video, hit the bell icon to be notified anytime when I put out other videos. And as always, everybody, God loves you, I love you, let's do life, and everyone just have a great weekend and just be safe and be civil to one another.